Hello friends, so today's video is going to be part 2 of my anticipated spring book releases, specifically for fantasy. Part 1 covered April and May, and then part 2 here is going to cover basically just June, because most of the May releases, at least for me, there aren't all that many. And also I know that June technically is when summer starts, but I'm just, for ease of structuring the videos, doing it in 3-month chunks. In part 1 of my anticipated spring releases, I asked all of you to let me know if you prefer to just have, when I'm talking about a certain book, that book's cover and information about it on the screen, or if you prefer for me to not only do a voiceover and be in it as well. And it was pretty much unanimous that you all like me being present in the video too. So I'm gonna do it that way, and then also you all let me know that the way I had the date for the release date structured was I had it the way we do it in America, which is not quite the same everywhere else. So I'll make sure to write out the dates so when you're going back to reference it, it's very easy to tell when the release date is. That said, these release dates are subject to change, of course. I'll have my part 1 for spring releases linked down below, as well as a video I did highlighting some Orbit book releases, and those are entirely adult fantasy, so if you're interested in that, I'll have it linked. I am going to mention a couple here that were in that video, but I just want to shout them out again. But we're actually going to start with one that is not through Orbit, and that would be the Spear Cuts Through Water, which is scheduled for June 3rd. I have my computer, so if you see me looking down, I'm just reading the synopsis for this. It says, a reluctant warrior goes on the run with an ancient goddess through a lush world full of wild magic, wondrous creatures, and hidden enemies in this beautiful epic fantasy from the author of The Vanished Birds. Continuing a little bit more in depth, it says, in the land of the strangled throat, the people suffer under the rule of a despotic emperor. His sons, the Three Terrors, despoil the countryside and oppress its citizens. When Kima Dawar, a fierce warrior who lost his left arm in battle, finds the mythic empress who has escaped from her royal imprisonment at his sentry outpost, he must make a choice. Turn her in and evade the wrath of the Three Terrors, or help her overthrow the government and free a nation. Of course, because it's not been released yet, you're not going to see a bunch of reviews and ratings, but generally speaking, you're still going to see some, because people usually get early copies, they get ARCs, but this one, it has 3 ratings and 2 reviews. So there's really not a whole lot of buzz, at least here on Goodreads, for this one, but I think it sounds fantastic. I'm always excited for a story where you're overthrowing bad guys, basically. So I'm really excited about this one. I tried to see a little bit further if it was considered adult or young adult. I wasn't able to quite tell. I think it's leaning a little bit towards adult based off of some of the things mentioned in that synopsis. However, the cover and the colors and the art style are not ones I typically see in adult, which I know that doesn't mean the cover art doesn't always dictate which age range, but apologies that I'm not able to discern that for you all. The next one is a sequel that I'm personally excited about, and that would be For the Throne, scheduled for June 9th. This is the sequel to For the Wolf. Because I don't want to spoil that one, I'm going to actually just talk about the first book in the series, and then if it sounds interesting, you can check out that first book and then look at the second one. If you've read the first one, you already know what the second one's going to be about. So For the Wolf is a fantasy and then I would say romance hybrid, where it's not necessarily as romance driven as something like A Court of Thorns and Roses, but there is a rather important romantic subplot or parallel plot with the fantastical one. So we have a girl who was born into a royal family, and one of the daughters in the royal family is, quote, for the throne, and the other one is for the wolf. So what that means is that she is to be sacrificed to this being who lives in the forest, and that is going to help keep whatever mysterious evil things are through the forest. In doing the sacrifice, it keeps the rest of the queendom safe. So it sounds kind of like Uprooted. I promise that the writing style and the execution of the plot really didn't feel like Uprooted, even though the synopsis sounds so similar. But once our character is going to carry out this obligation, they find out there's more than what they ever expected. So I quite liked this one. I thought it, as far as adult fantasy goes, reads really fast. If you're somebody who's intimidated by adult fantasy, you maybe usually read young adult, this is a fantastic one, I would say, to transition into adult fantasy. The next few either come out June 21st or June 28th, and one of them would be the Ballad of Perilous Graves. I actually mentioned this one in the Orbit video I did, so I'm going to go through this one briefly. But the Ballad of Perilous Graves, it says, in a fantastical version of New Orleans, where music is magic, a battle for the city's soul brews between two young mages, a vengeful wraith, and one powerful song in this vibrant and imaginative debut. If you don't want to jump to that other Orbit video, I'll just talk about this one a little more in depth. It says, Nola is a city full of wonders, a place of sky trolleys and dead cabs, where haints dance the night away and wise women keep the order, and where songs walk, talk, and keep the spirit of the city alive. To those from far away, Nola might seem strange. To failed magician Perilous Graves, it's simply home. Then the rhythm stutters. 9 songs of power have escaped from the magical piano that maintains the city's beat, and without them, Nola will fail. Unexpectedly, Perry and his sister Brendy are tasked with saving the city, but a storm is brewing, and the haint of all haints is awake. Even if they capture the songs, Nola's time might be coming to an end. Next up, we have This Vicious Grace. This one does have some ratings and reviews already, and it seems to be very well liked. Currently, the average rating from those almost 300 ratings is 4.41, so exciting that early reviewers seem to be enjoying it. So the synopsis says, 3 weddings, 3 funerals. Alessa's gift from the gods is supposed to magnify a partner's magic, not kill every suitor she touches. Now with only weeks left until a hungry swarm of demons devours everything on her island home, Alessa is running out of time to find a partner and stop the invasion. When a powerful priest convinces the faithful that killing Alessa is the island's only hope, her own soldiers try to assassinate her. Desperate to survive, Alessa hires Dante, a cynical outcast marked as a killer, to become her personal bodyguard. But as rebellion explodes outside the gates, Dante's dark secrets may be the biggest betrayal. He holds the key to her survival and her heart, but is he the one person who can help her master her gift or destroy her once and for all? This is also a debut. It says it will keep readers turning the pages until the devastating conclusion and leave them primed for more, because it is the first book in a series. I already want the sequel, and I haven't even read the first one. Just that synopsis alone, I'm like, oh, what's going to happen? So I'm really excited about this one. I think I first was interested in this one by seeing an alternate cover. I think from the person who designed a cover. I think maybe it was a UK cover, and I followed that particular designer or something like that on Instagram. And I saw the cover. I'm like, what's that? And then I realized I had seen this book before. I had just seen it through another cover. Anyway, that doesn't really matter. Once again, scheduled for June 28th, we have a YA fantasy called The Song That Moves the Sun. And it says this sweeping YA fantasy romance full of star-crossed love, complex female friendship, and astrological magic is perfect for fans of Laini Taylor, which would be me, Alexander Bracken, and V.E. Schwab, from the acclaimed author of The Beholder, which I haven't read that one, but I have that one and I would like to read it. Best friends Rora and Claudia have never felt more like their lives are spiraling out of control, and when they meet Major and Amir, 2 boys from one of the secret cities of the spheres, ruled by the magic of the astrological signs, they discover they're not alone. There is a disruption in the harmony between the spheres, and its chaos is spreading. To find the source of the disharmony, Rora and Claudia will embark on a whirlwind journey of secrets, romance, and powerful truths about themselves, each other, and 2 long-ago explorers named Dante and Beatrice, who were among the first to chart this course toward the stars. And for those of you that really enjoy fantasy standalones, that is what this one is going to be. Another for June 28th, we have The Dream Runners. This one says, 7 years ago, Tanvi was spirited away to the subterranean realm of Nagalok, where she joined the ranks of the Dream Runners, human children freed of all memory and emotion, charged with harvesting mortal dreams for the consumption of the Naga court. Venkat knows a different side of Nagalok. As apprentice to the influential Lord Nayan, he shapes the Dream Runner's wares into the kingdom's most tantalizing commodity. And Nayan has larger plans for these mortal dreams. With a dreamsmith of Venkat's talent, he believes he can use them to end a war between Nagas and their ancient foe, the Garudas. But when one of Tanvi's dreams harvests go awry, she begins to remember her life on Earth. Panicked and confused, she turns to the one mortal in Nagalok who can help, Venkat. And as they search for answers, a terrifying truth begins to take shape, one that could turn the Naga's realm of dreams into a land of waking nightmares. At the moment, it doesn't say if it's book 1 in a series, but I also don't see anything saying it's a standalone either. So I'm not sure. It almost sounds like it has the potential to be the beginning of a series. But either way, I think that sounds really interesting. That's it though for part 2 of my anticipated spring releases. I can't guarantee that I will get around to all of these, but I would like to get around to quite a few of them. And then if you are excited about any of these as well, let me know. What is your most anticipated release this spring? But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you all later. Bye.